everyone, welcome to the 12 Man Insight Podcast. I'm Mo. I'm here with your boy Tommy. Tommy, I'm rocking the action green today. It's almost a Super Bowl, man. This shit is coming down to an end. Breaking news first. Let's start with breaking news. Klint Kubiak hired as the new Seahawks offensive coordinator, man. Coming down from New Orleans, where he had two monster games. Man, those two games versus I think it was the Cowboys and what was the other game? I forgot what it was, but man, those two games when I saw it, I was like, man, this guy must be for real. But then it looks like he might have had some injuries issues, but he found his home right here in the Seahawks in Seattle today. He's going to be coaching up this offense. What do you think about this hire, Tommy?
He wasn't my first choice. I'll be honest. Um, but I do like the hire. I like the hire. He's going to give you the best balance of both pass and run. Um, obviously he has play calling experience in the NFL, which is what my favorite candidate Hank Fraley didn't have. Um, and yeah, like you said, in New Orleans, I think we saw a glimpse of what it was at its best earlier in the season, and I do think that injuries played a massive role in why that offense, kind of fell off the way it did. But also, I think my biggest concern is that adjustment based, results as well. Did teams adjust on film, and that's kind of why it shut down? Now, I mean, he was dealt a very tough hand this year with, they lost to Lave, Carr went down. They were using Spencer Rattler. They had a plethora of injury issues, throughout the season. Kamara missed some games. So, all in all, I think I'm not going to say I'm the most excited for this hire, but I do think it's a good hire, and I'm really, really excited to kind of see what he does with our offensive personnel because it is better than what the Saints had to offer.
So look at this. I was looking at this stat. I was listening to the radio, and it sounds like not a lot of three receiver sets for Klint Kubiak. Man, he uses multiple tight ends. He loves the 12 personnel, 13 personnel. How is it going to be different from what we saw with Grubb, Shane Waldron? It's been a while since we had like a dominant offense here in Seattle and a great play caller. What do you think we'll see, man? What's the change going to look like?
Well, let me just start with personnel. I think us, hiring him will. I don't want to say seal the door on Tyler Lockett, but I do think that basically seals the deal because, like you said, he loves a lot of those two wide receiver sets. I mean, we saw it in San Francisco when he was a pass game coordinator there. Debo and Ayuk, those are their main two guys. Love the use of the tight ends. So, I do think we're going to see some changes in what our looks, but I think we're going to have a lot more balance than what we saw with Ryan Grubb. I think Kubiak is going to be much more committed to getting the run game going, and I think there are going to be some personnel decisions that go hand in hand with that commitment to the run. Like I said, I think we're going to lose Tyler Lockett, but I do think that we might address tight. It only makes me feel a lot better than what I said about us potentially addressing tight end this offseason. I think that's going to be something that we're really going to dig into, and I think he's going to look for a guy that might fit his scheme a little bit better than say a Noah Fant does.
Mhm.
Um, I think Barner's a good fit in that scheme. The most important thing, you need to be able to block as a tight end. You have to be able to block. And so we're going to be looking for some inline guys that can give us that ability to block. And what that'll do is it will help us in our run game as well. And so I think we're going to see, a lot of play action. He's going to work that in there. We're going to work the middle of the field a little bit more, especially like in the intermediate middle of the field. And so that, I think we're going to see some different things that we saw with Ryan Grubb, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. One thing that Kubiak has that Ryan Grubb doesn't was like I said, play calling experience. He's been there and
Yeah.
done that, and he's shown to have some success. And I am really interested to see. Like, I think I'm more intrigued than anything. I don't necessarily. I'm not going to come out and say it was a bad hire because I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I really don't. But I am very, very intrigued by what we're going to see this upcoming season and kind of what moves we make to help Kubiak out. Because here's the deal: if we don't address the interior offensive line, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
It's not. We're gonna see the same issues that we saw this past season. So hopefully we're gonna put a little bit more of an emphasis on addressing that interior offensive line and maybe add a tight end or two to the mix that fits that scheme and let's go out there and play some ball and see what happens. I mean, it's done. The hire's made, and what we have to do now as a fan base is, look at the positives, be optimistic, and support throughout the season.
Check out this. Klint Kubiak, third in the league last year when it came to quarterbacks under center. So he does not like a lot of shotguns. So it tells you where his priorities are and where his focus is. So let me ask you a question, Tommy. How much freedom does the quarterback have in this system? Because we saw there was a lot of questions with Brock Purdy in Shanahan's system, and everybody was like, "Oh, he doesn't let him change the protections. He's very, detailed. He just puts everything in. It's the quarterbacks don't change the plays. There's limited audibles. How much freedom do you think Gino will have in the system?"
Well, I think it depends. I think it depends on a lot of factors. And, I don't think that with this scheme that I presume we're going to come out in, that Gino's just going to be able to freelance it and just kind of make things happen. I think there is like a set game plan that Gino's going to need to follow. But what Gino's freedoms will completely rely on is how quickly he picks up the system. How quickly can he understand the system? Can he understand the extra wrinkles that maybe Kubiak wants him to identify on defenses, on our offense, and what adjustments, how comfortable is he with making adjustments, that will lead to success. So, it's varied, and it might open up as the season progresses as well. As Gino gets more comfortable, we might not see it the first 5 weeks, but the rest of the season we might see a little bit more freedom to adjust with Gino. But it is just a matter of how quickly he can understand the system and how fluidly he can, execute the system as well. I think that'll play a big factor.
Yeah. If in Mike McDonald's defense, if the stars of the Mike McDonald's defense are the linebackers and the safeties, who are going to be the stars of the Kubiak system? Is it K9?
Yeah, I mean, running back is going to be important. You're going to have to make sure you address that. I would not be surprised to see Seattle dip into this running back class because I
Yeah.
do think we have some questions in our running back room. I don't think it'll be an early pick by any means, but the running back class is so deep that we could get a quality guy in the fifth, sixth round that potentially could continue to rise up the depth chart. And so that's a big one. Tight end's extremely important as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you need that. And offensive line, point blank. I mean, offensive line is important in every system. So we don't need to act like this is a Kubiak thing. But
Yeah.
like, if you don't have a capable offensive line that's going to allow you to run the ball, then it won't matter. So we're going to have to get that addressed first and foremost, and then you can kind of fill out the rest. We're good at receiver. I really think we're really good at receiver. There's a guy. Actually, I want to talk about a guy in regards to receiver that I would love to see in Seattle. I don't know how closely you've been watching the Senior Bowl. Luckily, I've had a real close look outside the Senior Bowl, but Jack Besh from
Yeah.
TCU, he's starting to rise, and I mean he's probably like, I mean I've been knowing we've been knowing but this guy he reminds me of Cooper Cup, like to a
Mm.
T. I mean, sure hands. This guy will come out and block his ass off. Like he is a smart player and a productive player. And I love what he brings to the table. And he's rising now. I don't know where he's going to go. Someone's going to fall in love with it, and he might go earlier than what Seattle may want. But I would love to see that guy in a Seattle uniform because I think as a receiver 3, I mean, he would be perfect with what he'd bring to the table for us. And I think,
Yeah.
his skill set would really complement both JSN and DK, and he would give us a nice, extra target there who who's going to come out and be able to block as well in that situation because we saw it the 49ers, right? What is
Mhm.
one thing their receivers do well? Like, what is one
Block.
thing that their receivers they block, and DK is a capable blocker. JSN maybe not as much, but I like the effort that JSN plays with there.
Yeah. He tries
Um,
hard though.
he does. So like we're like that's a lot of the it's the NFL, so you need execution instead of just effort. But like JSN is a willing blocker, and that
Right.
for the most part is really what you can really what you want to ask for, right? But I
Yeah.
think if you add Jack Besh to that mix, and like I said, I'm talking in January, he is shredding the Senior Bowl right now. Like at the combine last year, I made a lot of connections of athletic writers from other teams, and everyone's talking about him at this point. I think the cat's out of the bag, and um, he's got a great story too. I don't want to dig too deep into it, but because it is, it's not really my business just to be talking about. But if you guys
Yeah,
are any interested, look it up. You'll understand what I'm talking about. He's playing with a heavy heart, and he's really working hard. He's playing for something, and very motivated guy, great dude,
that's amazing.
talented player. He's going to be really really successful in the league, and so if Seattle can potentially get their hands on him, I'll be a very happy man. Hopefully day 2 or day 3, I would imagine. So we'll see what he brings. But I just want to shut that up because I think he'd be an amazing fit for
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be definitely rooting for him. But I agree with you. This was not the most flashiest pick. The most flashiest pick would be Frank Haley, maybe a young offensive coordinator like Grant Udisky. This pick kind of sounded like the most safest pick that the Seahawks wanted to do. One, I think they looked at every corner of the offense. They said, "Hey, Tyler Lockett's going to leave, so we need a system that can operate with two receiver sets most of the time." We got Geno. We need a system that a quarterback can be under center most of the time. So I think they looked at their personnel, and this hire tells you where the Seahawks are going. So with this hire, I'm feeling like Geno is back because Klint Kubiak's system is Geno where Geno excels at. He's a great play action pass quarterback, and he likes to make quick decisions, running game. So complementary football, as Mike McDonald said, fits with him too. So hey, this tells you where the Seahawks are going, and you know what? I like it. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I really am. But like the most important thing about going under center is this offensive line, especially the interior, needs to be upgraded. We
Yeah,
can't be going under center like that if it's not addressed. It will not work. It will not work. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what moves we make
yeah.
to address that.
Yeah. Also, I think what will help Gino is like moving the pocket, bootlegs. Not putting Gino in the same spot every time. Because like that was the problem with in Ryan Grubb's office. All defenses knew Gino was going to be at that exact same spot every single play, and that kind of exposed the offense a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're a quarterback who's sitting in shotgun 90% of the time, you're just a moving target, right? I mean, these
Yeah.
these these edge rushers and interior defensive linemen can pin their ears back and know exactly where you're going to be. Like it's like a one on ones. It's like one on ones with with the bag in the backfield. Like they have one target, and they know exactly where he's going to be. And so we need to mix it up a little bit more. We need to keep these fronts more honest. Don't because all they did was expect Jenner to be right there in the backfield, So we need to mix that up and allow defenses to have to be more honest coming out of their, defensive linemen more honest coming out of their stance, more disciplined coming out of their stance, because we can't allow these guys just to tee off on us like that, this upcoming season.